So when you think about endangered species, what comes to mind? Maybe an elephant, maybe a rhino, maybe even a sea turtle. Well, actually, snow leopard is one of the most threatened species today. So my name is Trey Hilliard, and I'm going to tell you all about why that is. Common name is the snow leopard. The scientific name is the Panthera unica. And here's a picture of the snow leopard, in case you didn't know what it looked like. So taxonomic classification, from kingdom Animalia, phylum Portata, class Mammalia, order Carnivora, family Felidae, and then genus Panthera, species Unica, which is where it gets its scientific name. A little background information on snow leopard. They're highly elusive and often travel solo. They're crepuscular, meaning that they're most active in the morning time and then just as night starts in the evening. Their home ranges from about 1,000 square kilometers, and the females usually raise their cubs up till 18 months, at which point they kind of kick them out. They're not known to be aggressive towards humans, however, I wouldn't test that theory. Size-wise, they're about 55 to 65 centimeters high, about 90 to 115 centimeters long, and their tail itself is about 100 centimeters. So environmental adaptations, what makes a snow leopard a snow leopard? First of all, they have extra large paws, which help them walk on the snow. This is similar to how snowshoes work. They have short round ears to help prevent heat loss, as well as a large, wide nasal cavity, which helps warm air as it enters the lungs. They have strong limbs. They can pounce up to 30 feet. Their fur provides great camouflage for the snow and the Rocky Mountain area they live in. They have that extra long tail I mentioned, so that's good to help them balance, but it also helps keep them warm. So if you have a cat, maybe you've seen it wrap its tail around its feet. That's what it's doing, it's keeping itself warm. The snow leopard does the same thing with its big bushy tail. And then their fur grows extra thick during the wintertime to help accommodate the colder temperatures. So snow leopards can be found in the mountains, roughly 9,800 feet up to about 17,000 feet. It's mostly in Central Asia. From the map here, you can see that their habitat ranges from Afghanistan to Russia, all the way over into China. However, China does contain about 60% of the population. And the biome they live in is called the taiga, so that's basically rocky, mountainous, cold area with really low vegetation. Trophic level and food sources. So the snow leopards are apex predators, meaning they don't have any other predators that prey on them. Prey availability kind of determines whether or not a habitat is suitable for them. Their diet depends on the location, but typically it's going to be wild goats or wild sheep. They get a kill about every 8 to 10 days, and they'll typically eat that over 3 to 4 days and kind of stay in that area to defend that kill. They're opportunistic hunters, especially during the wintertime. This basically means that they'll eat pretty much whatever is available, whatever they can kind of get a hold of. So as you see from this graph over here, the yellow and orange area displays wild animals that they kill, so like the ibex and other goats. However, the blue is domestic animals, such as horses, camels, and domestic goats. So it shows that really about 80% is from the wild, and only about 20% is from domestic livestock. And I'll kind of get into that later, because this is kind of an area that's causing them to be endangered. It's from local farmers. So the role in the ecosystem, direct role, meaning that it's for human benefit. Zoos, obviously people like to pay money to go see these animals because they are, pretty cool looking and cute. And then for their fur, people poach these to sell their fur because they're desirable because of the color. Their indirect role, so their biological role, they help with balancing population levels. So like the Himalayan marmot, it's really overpopulated in the area they live in, so they kind of help bring that down by consuming them. And they also provide transportation pathways for smaller animals. kind of like patting the snow down. It lets small animals travel more easily. So the IUCN currently has the snow leopard labeled as vulnerable. So as you see, it's not the worst, but not the best. However, the population is decreasing. So McCarthy et al. From 2017 states that there's roughly 2,710 to 3,386 mature individuals in the wild today. So I think that's kind of a wide range, and that's kind of one of the issues with the monitoring system, is you don't have a good way to get an accurate count of how many there are. Some of the threats that the snow leopard is actually facing, mainly habitat destruction. So from residential and commercial development, such as building houses, infrastructure, things like that. Livestock farming, as you clear areas for your livestock, you're taking away habitat of the snow leopard. Mining, obviously, mining in mountainous areas is gonna, make the snow leopard have to migrate away because you're destroying its habitat. Railroad construction, road construction, you're cutting right through its habitat. And then civil war, or war and civil unrest, and military exercise. So from the map you saw Afghanistan and Pakistan, some areas where it lives. Obviously if there's war going on, there'll be bombs, it's destroying the habitat, and they're gonna migrate away from that. Overexploitation, so hunting and trapping. As stated, this is done to sell their furs legally. Disease, they can catch disease from animals they eat, whether that's wild or domestic. And then global climate change. So severe weather that will prevent the snow leopard from hunting sometimes. Maybe it traps it in, maybe it makes it harder for it to move. And then there's also what's called tree line shift, which is essentially what it sounds like. Basically, the tree line from the lower ecosystem is moving up the mountain because of increased temperatures, allowing for this to happen. Well, this doesn't seem like while this doesn't seem like that big of an issue, it does cause competition between that other ecosystem and the snow leopard for prey. For example, the lynx lives in that lower ecosystem, so as it moves up, competition between the lynx and the snow leopard occurs for food, which is one of the issues it's facing and causing its endangerment. So what is being done? The IUCN currently has the following conservation methods in place. They have a recovery plan known as the Global Snow Leopard Ecosystem Recovery Program. Amongst this is a monitoring scheme. So as stated, there's not a good way to get a good count of the snow leopards and actually monitor whether the population is increasing or decreasing. So that's first priority. International trade control, so preventing illegal distribution of furs, help combat poaching. Education awareness programs, so especially to local farmers. As stated, they're often killing these snow leopards because the snow leopards are eating their livestock and costing them money. However, they might not know that it's an endangered species because they see it all the time, right? So by educating these local farmers, they can understand the correct protocol when coming into contact with the snow leopard. The program also states a goal of 20 by 2020. So this basically means they want 20 sustainable snow leopard populations by the year 2020. For these populations, they have certain criteria, which includes at least 100 breeding age snow leopards in that population or in that region. They want adequate prey populations. Obviously, that's an issue they're facing, so that's a big priority as well. And they want they state, they want connectivity to other snow leopard regions. This way, they can diversify the gene pool by mating with other regions. That way, if disease comes in, it doesn't wipe out the whole population. So future predictions, Errol, Aishoot et al. State that by the year 2030, at least about 15% of the population will be decreased because of global climate change, and then even up to 22% by the year 2050. This is going to make smaller range for them to search for actual prey, meaning that they're going to have to search even further, use more energy for the same amount of food. Obviously, that's not favorable. Then, as Farrington states, they're going to use more energy doing this hunting. And then increased competition with other species such as the lynx. Obviously, that's going to reduce amount of food in the area, making even less food than they have to already search for. So I predict that the snow leopard population is either going to stay the same or decrease. I think it will decrease because of the factors it's facing with competition, with global climate change, habitat destruction. However, it may stay the same because of the implementations being made. So we'll have to wait it out and see. Hopefully the snow leopard population stays the same or even increases, but time will tell. So that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, please let me know.